And the fun part about going live, I say this a lot, I never truly know when it's live because I'm looking at the Zoom and I'm looking at my Facebook, but I can't, there's a delay too, so you never know. So lately I've been bringing people in like this, where we have to put our hands like this. So you guys put your hands like this and then interlace your fingers and then do this. I don't know. I kind of stole it from someone, but I kind of enjoy it. So I think we're live now. That brought us to the live internetworks of Facebook. So of the Facebook, thank you. And thank you guys for joining. This is episode number 8 of the ReThink Real Estate Show. And I've got 2 amazing humans with me right now. And so thank you. And actually, let me put a gallery view on it so we can all be seen here. So yes, first, ladies first, I want to introduce Miriam to you guys. So Miriam Habashi is with us. She is the owner of INFUSE Theory, and she is a business development and a business development and a leadership coach. So Miriam actually has come to the top she's been in several different businesses and worked her way to the top. And check this out. Miriam was the first female regional director of a company that had all men for a full century of business. Okay, a full century of business. And by the way, this company is a Fortune 500 company called Bankers Life and Casualty. She was the very first woman in power in a leadership position. So that's crazy. In 2014, she co-authored the book Pure Wealth, 26 Ways to Crazy Profitability. I want that book, by the way. She was the president of Sterling Wealth Strategy, which is also powered by Penn Mutual, another Fortune 100 company. And now she's leading the charge, helping entrepreneurs grow their business with INFUSE Theory. So thank you very much, Miriam, for being on the call with us. I appreciate it. I'm excited to hear what you got to say. And then I've got my man, Eric Gillman, on the line too. Eric, the knife guy. Everybody knows this guy. Here in San Diego, and his title officially is a Cutco sales professional, and his company is called Sharp Retention. And what they do is they specialize in making sure that your clients never forget about you. And they have a full-blown strategic gifting program, branded gifts, to make sure that when, for example, as an agent, when you sell a house, that person remembers who you are 5 years down the road. And sure, you should be doing your own marketing and advertising and staying in touch with them. But Eric's company helps people stay remembered. And Eric also wrote a book called The Power to Change. And the subtitle was Creating the Life You Want Through Healthy Choices. Oh, there it is. There's your book. I read this book, and it's kind of neat because I've known Eric for over, I don't even know. I know you for like 10 or 15, 12, 15 years. I don't know. We've known
10 years, yeah.
We've known each other a long time. And I knew him from way back when I was on the East Coast, and he's always been here in San Diego, even though he's from the East Coast. But he used to be heavy, I guess. And I don't ever remember that life of when you were like a heavy guy, but I guess he was. And he's
I see a picture. Are you grabbing a picture?
You got a picture? Do you?
Wow, really?
Okay, it didn't
look at that. My God. Good for you. I've been trying to lose 5 pounds for like 10 years. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, he's a big fitness guy. And actually, I've just got a lot of respect for this man for many reasons. But right now he's doing like a sober 2020, and he started that mission before quarantine ever started. And I said, what a good time to be kind of going sober during quarantine, because you're not out being with people and feeling like peer pressure to have drinks or being asked to like, why aren't you drinking? Because it's always awkward. So yeah, it's just really neat. But Eric's very self-disciplined. So it's kind of neat to have both of you guys in particular on this call, because both of you are very disciplined. You teach that. You're both very well respected in the community, and you guys are just kind of next level in both respects of what you guys are doing and building. So without further ado, I'm going to have Miriam go first. So Miriam, the first question to kind of start off is, what have you been doing right now in quarantine to pivot the business? I know we talked a little yesterday about like a lot of stuff that you were positioning yourself to do anyway. So I think COVID-19 kind of pushed it faster, which was really good for many reasons. But give us the details on your background, where you're like, what you've been doing, and then, things like that. And also how COVID's kind of affected you and your family and in the business?
Sure. I mean, just going back real quick, you talked about discipline. I mean, any professional, any person who's successful, one key quality they have is that they're disciplined. Mm-hmm. They're disciplined not only in their professional life, but in your personal life, because ultimately what you do professionally has a lot to do with how you lead personally. Mm-hmm. And people who play two different complete roles, that tension usually gives off somewhere. And that's where the inconsistency takes place as a producer and a leader. So your personal and your professional consistency is key. And though there's a difference between being motivated and being inspired. Motivated is short-term, inspiration is long-term. And so many people in sales and leadership roles spend all this money to go places to get motivated. But at the end of the day, when that fizzles down, you're looking in the mirror and no one's going to push you but you. And that's what needs to really be, sharpened and perfected, is that inner motivation. And that inner motivation comes from having confidence and belief in who you are. You cannot expect anyone to add value to you if you haven't added value or seen value in yourself first. So as a business development coach, knowing that ultimately the goal is to help you have explosive growth in your career, whether you're on the sales or the leadership side, it really has to do with transforming yourself on a personal level and creating a different mindset, so that whether I'm in your life or not, or other people you might pay to work with are in your life or not, that inner inspiration, that inner discipline and grit continues to last for many, many years to come. COVID, no one's expected it. It's crazy. I have my own sense on it. Definitely the virus out there is real, but at the same time, it's been hyped up a lot, and it's caused a lot more fear in some people. And for some people, it's crippled them. Some people are taking advantage of this time. And you and I talked about it, Jesse. Hey, there were things that we just weren't doing because we used time as an excuse. And I love that quote that you put out there, and I reposted it. And it was, if you don't get out of this quarantine and you're better off than where you were before we got into this, then this wasn't a time problem. Mm-hmm. This was a discipline problem. And we're going back to that again. But here, for me, time-wise, nothing has changed. I'm still putting in my 10-hour days. But now I'm able to, I wrote a list. I wrote a list of all these different things that I wanted to accomplish or were on my to-do list, where they weren't as a priority when I was out in the field, driving around, seeing people. At the end of the day, when we're out and about, time is something we can't get back. Mm-hmm. And now that we're in our homes, how can we utilize this extra time to maximize our output and our productivity? Mm-hmm. So I sat down and I wrote a list. Then I took that list and I put it into what was priority, what was sense of urgency. Which one should I do first versus last? Which one is ultimately going to help propel me personally, professionally, and financially? Once that list was created, now I took to how long is it going to take me to complete that task? So a goal has to be SMART, something that it's in my curriculum. It has to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and in due time. So putting the list together is one thing. Organizing it in priority is the second. But then having a timing and a deadline for yourself is key.
What was the R? Realistic?
Realistic. So the goal needs to be realistic.
Okay.
So I went ahead and put a deadline in all of them. And it was, even if I have to stay up till 2 a.m. to finish that task, because that deadline is tomorrow, that is what I was going to do. And my husband and I, we've been married, 24 years. We have 3 children from 13 to 21. And he's a cosmetic and general dentist. And with COVID-19, he took it hard because he had to furlough. He had 5 locations. He had to furlough everybody. and basically create what they call the skeleton office, which was now only going to be one dentist, one office manager, and one assistant. So you even had to furlough your hygienist, and now the dentist had to do hygiene work for emergency if that's what they needed to do. They weren't allowed to see patients anymore, only for emergency patients. And significantly, that hurt his patient pool, his productivity, his income, his referral, everything sort of stopped. Yeah. It was actually this past Monday that the company said, you guys are able to see patients again. So we are coming out of this quarantine. We will. Life is not going to stop. But when we come out of it, it is not going to be like before. That will take time. It will, but that's going to take time. And people are going to use quarantine as either a valid or a not valid excuse of why they can't see you, why they can't meet with you. Not only employees are going to pull that, your agents are going to pull that if you're listening to this, and your team leaders, but the prospects are going to do that as well. Either they're genuinely afraid of seeing humans at this time, maybe they have someone elderly that lives with them, they don't want to take the risk, or they're using it as an excuse to put off wanting to meet with you. So how are you going to combat this? By making sure you're taking this time to sharpen your tools so that you have created an effective online prospecting and selling system. So if people can't see you in person due to time or due to in-person contact, the show can continue to move forward. You can continue to impact and help people without this being another objection in your bucket list that you need to come up with a rebuttal for.
Yeah.
And I personally have created this for Infuse Theory, and taking this time now to set up those free strategy sessions, getting to know as many people as possible right now, whether they're ready to do business with you or not. What I call my tomorrow clients, so that when the time comes, we can convert those individuals and be able to help them have that career growth.
Do you have a link for that, Miriam, for the free strategy session?
It's all over my website. If they go to www.infusetheory.com. Okay. Everywhere there is a button to book your free strategy session. Book now. That'll take you to my Calendly. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna talk you into me coaching you. I need to see what the problem is, just like a doctor. When you go to a doctor, they don't all of a sudden, without asking you questions, give you some sort of prescription or out of nowhere inject you with something. They ask you questions. They have to know your history. They have to know what you've done, what you haven't done, in order to determine, is this medication right for you? Is my curriculum right for you? And because when I work with someone, I owe them success. If they work with me and they come out of this not being 10 times better than what they were, then I need to close shop, or I need to rethink about the person I decided to take on. So the strategy session is to really get to know you, hear you out. You get to know what I do. But regardless of whether we work together or not, I want to give you some tips immediately, because I love to get advice, whether you like it or not. It's just who I am. That's going to help you. And if I was able to help you without you being my client, of course you're going to call me later on when you need more help and make that into hopefully a client coaching relationship. That's on a professional level. On a personal level, I've always loved cutting hair just for fun. I think the first time I cut my cousin's hair, I was like 10.
I didn't know that.
I
so
do.
You've been cutting all your kids' hair, your husband's hair?
Oh my God.
Where do you live and what do you charge?
Oh my God. Well, my husband is sleeping.
Funny, because we were literally it was really funny, Miriam. Before we were getting on, Eric's like, playing with his hair. I'm like, did you cut it yet? You cut it yourself? He's like, no. I'm like, it looks really good for having cutting it, and anyway, it's just really funny because we were just talking about this.
Yeah, believe it or not, last night my hair was almost all one length, similar to yours. And so last night I decided to give myself layers.
Oh,
And,
wow.
I sectioned it right now. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on how to section correctly, whatever, and, not make it look chopped. So I first put my son in the shower and I cut his hair. Then I put my husband in the shower, cut his hair. I need to buy a little cape thing.
Yeah.
And I did my own hair. And guess who's next? Fiona, our Shih Tzu, because she's looking like a mop. And so I've looked up how to cut Shih Tzu's hair,
Oh my
and
God.
and I have become Amazon crazy. So I ordered the special tools, and I'm waiting for it to arrive so that Fiona could be next.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, no, thank you for sharing. It's interesting, and I didn't know your husband had 5 different locations. Like, I know Dennis, I know everybody was affected, right? So it is neat to see how people have transitioned, and it's just kind of great to hear like the success stories, because I know this time was not easy for anybody, especially if you have kids at home. Like, can't be easy. It just can't be. Um, no, thank you, Miriam. We'll circle back around too. I gotta go get over this knife guy over here, hear what's crack-a-lacking for him. And I'll make sure to put your website and the strategy for everyone to be able to click on the link and get a free strategy session in the comments too. So we'll make sure we get that out.
You're the best. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Eric, talk to us, brother. What's been going on? I know me and you have had some conversations, but how's your life right now? How's COVID?
My life is great. Yeah, and I want to just thank you, some great stuff from Maryam, and I want to let you know too, I'm taking notes over here. I'm not like responding to text messages every time you say something really good. I'm a notorious note taker, and I rarely ever review them or look back through them, but I like writing them down and going through my head. And especially in today's modern format, is I have notes and stuff all over my desk and whatnot. But yeah, I'm really excited to be on today and just kind of echo a lot of the things that Maryam was saying, with adding on to what we've been doing. I think the main thing it comes back to is the case during COVID, after COVID, and before COVID is your mindset. So I've been with Cutco. I've known you for over a decade. I've been doing this for 13 years. I got a high school summer job selling knives. $2.4 million in sales later, in 13 years, I'm in the Cutco Hall of Fame. And, now we specialize with businesses doing, like you said, long-term branding. Our team makes sure that you stay top of mind. And we have all types of systems, letters, scripts, videos. We take high quality knives and engrave them with all your information. So it's the type of thing your clients, use every day. But this is just simply the vehicle by which our team not only improves your clients' lives, but helps improve your lives as well. And really what it came down to specifically, with the situation that was going on, is when things kind of fell apart on what I'm calling, pardon my French, but oh fuck Friday, which was March 13th, 2020, the day that my calendar fell apart. I'm sure everybody can kind of relate a little bit. We all had our big plans of what the spring was going to do, and 2020 was going to be the best thing yet. Similar to Black Monday of the recession, the Great Depression, I call it oh frick Friday, if you prefer that. But yeah, so it really comes down to is you're going to respond over react. A lot of people are just in a reactionary phase, and it comes down to you can do one or the other. And most people just react immediately. So I responded, and I did that by taking an action plan immediately. I mean, I did Friday was rough. That Friday the 13th, like everybody, I was at home just being like, what's happening? That's not possible. Oh, 2 weeks, maybe. Okay. Everything now in hindsight seems silly that we thought. But all I knew was, here's the thing that I knew, is that my why hadn't changed one bit. My end game nothing about extra circumstances changes what's most important to me, which is helping people, helping my family. I mean, go on and on about the different whys I have in my life. But the bottom line is that didn't change, right? Just the how changed. What up, doggy? He's so cute. Just the how change, right? So Monday morning, I kind of got right to it. And over the last couple of weeks, I've developed what I call my daily 10-5-2. And I've been sharing that at different office meetings, events, jumping on Zooms. It's really simple. A 10-5-2 is just 10 some of you might have been doing this already, but 10 value-added resource phone calls a day, right? Be there as a resource for your client or for your friend, right? Help them solve a problem in their life. Maybe they need not just, they need a plumber, an electrician, help getting food, help with elderly care, something, right? So be a resource for them. Those little steps along the way, like Maryam was saying, be there to solve their problem right now and don't ask anything for it. And you help enough people get what they need in life, you'll get what you need in life, right? And then the 5 is at least 5 handwritten thank you cards or gifts to be sending out a day. So it doesn't have to be some grand gesture. In my ideal universe, are you sending out 5 high quality Cutco knives every single day? Of course. Is that the most economically viable thing to do, considering they're a couple $100 a piece? Definitely not. But, do it, send a handwritten card or a sticker that says best day of my life and put a note in there that says this reminds me of the first day we met. My mom taught me this growing up. It doesn't matter the size of the gesture you make. It matters that you make a gesture in the first place. Send 5 handwritten thank you cards a day. And then the 2 is just 2 value add social media posts. So be the light at the end of the tunnel. Be the reason your clients are glad they got on social media that day, not the reason that they ended up on a 30-minute Google hole trying to find out if there's 5G towers going up all over the place, or if the government's shutting us down, or this conspiracy or that conspiracy, or this restaurant closing or that thing. There's a lot of negativity out in the world right now, rightfully so. There's crazy things happening in the world right now. Be the positive resource, be the light at the end of the tunnel. If you want to be successful in life and in business, if you want to crawl into a hole and wait till the next apocalypse comes, don't. Go repost all these negative things and just turn into the skid, and you'll never make it out. But goes back to what we were talking about is mindset, right? It's that how are you going to act about it? And we can go on and on, but it goes down to just double down on your client relationships. That's really what I've been doing. That's to sum it up. People, what are you doing? I'm like, Facebook messages, I'm sending emails, I'm sending books, I'm sending letters, I'm sending this, I'm loving on people. What are we actually doing? We're doubling down on client relationships. I'm taking my marketing budget that I spent on gasoline and sponsoring events and lunches, and I'm not necessarily, I'm saving it a little bit, but I redirected it towards high quality envelopes, silly, wacky, waving inflatable tube men that we can send to people. Big fan. It's just redirecting budget. So it just comes back to, the why hasn't changed, and that's really the shift with it. But just make people feel, not just cared about, but make people feel important right now. Make people feel loved, make them feel special, not just essential. So that's kind of what we've been doing on this end. But it really, and I'll leave it this, a little last thing that's the overbearing theme of it all, which is stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me, we could go down this path. I could talk about this all day, but it's really, I don't want to say sad, but I'm just in a frustrated spot because I've been obese, I've been depressed, I've been suicidal, I've been all these things that I see a lot of people sliding towards, and people don't seem to be concerned about it, and that concerns me. And so anyway, just stay healthy, right? Because that's all you get. This whole thing is a health crisis. This is not an economic crisis yet. This is not a housing crisis yet. This is a health crisis. So what can you do to combat that? Stay healthy.
Yeah. Dude, I love it. Go ahead, Miriam.
A couple of comments as I'm listening to you. I mean, number one, you are amazing, and I'm sure you hear this all the time. And someone like you, no matter what you do or what you sell, you would be successful at it, because it's who you are. So it's not Cutco, it's who you are, because a product is a product. Sales is sales, leadership is leadership. It's the mindset, it's your approach, it's the discipline, it's the execution piece. I always say knowledge is not power. The application of knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. And you are all over that. He's like, let me take notes. It's like, I'm going to write that down. But what I want to say to you is something interesting. A lot of people that are successful, most of them had it rough. I had a very rough childhood as well. And we were, when we came to this country from Iran, my mom was a single mom, 2 kids, $500 in her pocket, came to the US to live the American dream. So our first place was like the ghetto in LA, in the hood, where we needed to learn how to be street smart in order to survive. And later on, this woman becomes a self-made millionaire, right? So I had to work from age 15. And I've never not worked since then, regardless of who I married and how successful he was initially financially. But what I'm saying is, from a young age, personally, I had this desire to lead and to be successful and to be strong, and took anything negative in my life, because we play two roles. Either we become a victim, or we learn from what not to do in order to shift that to success. Mm-hmm. So I was able to do that from early on. With you, you mentioned something, and this is what I'm trying to get to. There was a time you were obese, you were suicidal, you were depressed. And it didn't look like you were a baby or a kid in that picture. You were a young adult. So for you, something happened where you switched and completely and taking like this crazy zero to hero mind shift. What was that at an adult age that made you just have such a massive transformation?
Sure. Yeah, thank you, by the way, for the comments. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. And to answer that question, so many people ask me that question. That's why I wrote the book. And the book, and I'm not going to be like, well, you should buy my book. I'll send you a copy for free. I didn't, because the thing is, I didn't write the book to become a profitable author. I wrote the book because I believe that if you do something in life that other people struggle with, that you got to turn around and help those other people with it, right? So I'm the #1 purchaser of my book by far. But that being said, it was small changes over a long period of time. And
so nothing dramatically happened that caused this. I
guess if there's anything traumatic, it would be years of compounding interest of being made fun of and being put down and being pinched and, staring at myself in the mirror, bloody nipples every single night after football practice because I just couldn't take it anymore. And then one day I said, well, what if I drank water instead of Diet Coke? Could I do that? And I did that. And now all of a sudden I became known as this water junkie and this water guy. And I noticed that I started feeling better. And I was like, that was the first thing I noticed, that, I took the soda, I changed it to water, I felt better. That was an equation that I hadn't figured out in life yet. Change one thing, do something different, feel different.
And stay consistent with it.
And so it was the water. And then it was, well, what if I ate my own snacks instead of eating a pretzel with cheese and a cookie every day? Okay. And that thing. And then it was like, well, what happens if I ate salad for lunch instead of pizza? And then snowball effect. And then sports started getting involved. And then I had a why and a vision. Once I had a goal to make a varsity football team my sophomore year, which of course never happened. But, it's all about the having that in front of you. Also, and I want to add one thing to kind of touch on what you mentioned with, I love the story about your mom. The immigrant mentality, as Gary, I think it's Gary V, a couple people call it, it's a well-known thing. And I apologize, I keep touching my nose. There is a sneeze coming. You feel it?
Thank God you're alone.
Anyway. So my dad's from England. He came here he got a job in New York. It wasn't the typical with $5 in your pocket story, but he came here in the search of something better, right? In the search of something different. And it goes back to, especially right now, I've been encouraging people without trying to push too hard, but you, me, you, all of us, we have, and I've been saying this for years, way before this ever happened, but now it's even more relevant, which is you have a responsibility and an obligation to think big and act big because you have the opportunity to do so. The bottom line is, and as you know far too well from being an immigrant family from Iran of all places, yeah. The idea that you can just get up and have a job and do what you want and say what you want, that's not a given. And in fact, there's about half the people on the planet right now. In fact, right now, about 2/3, maybe way more, that are literally dying for it. They're dying for it, or they might even unfortunately be killing other people for it. The same right that me and you have when we woke up and poured ourselves a glass of water and walked into our nice little pretty home offices this morning. And so when people get it, I apologize, I come off like
No,
negative
preach.
about it.
You have to
Preach.
Because I see a lot of things going on right now. Oh, it's, quarantine. I don't have, and it's not as much right now the first month, like, oh, I don't have to work, and oh, I'll never go back to the gym, and just, oh, what's the next thing on Netflix, and Tiger King this, and what series that, and it's just like, look, I watch Netflix, I like TV, I like relaxing. There's a time and a place for everything, but this whole like give up on ourselves mentality, America is not a place. America is an idea, and an idea that you can act and be free and do what you want and create an opportunity with unlimited potential, because there's other free countries. I'm not talking about Congo and communist China. I'm talking about free countries, Canada, certain places in Europe where these opportunities straight up don't exist. The certain salary caps, and I'm not going to get into semantics. I'm not a politician, and I'm not a Democrat or Republican. It doesn't matter if you're red, white, blue, black, brown. I don't care. Just get up and do something about it.
I believe that I believe everyone should do things in moderation. So I don't believe someone who's completely extreme in whatever they do. And at the beginning of this, and for all the people that are listening right now, share this with others. I would encourage you, if you like what you're hearing. When quarantine took place, a lot of us, because we had more time on our hand, we did drink more. Alcohol sales went through the roof. Maybe people smoked more cigarettes. Maybe people smoked more pot. Whatever it is people did, they were doing, or they were excited about, oh, yeah, it sucks, the gym is closed, but now I don't have to go. So they were talking about things that was causing them to self-destruct without really thinking about it. And I'm not on the call saying don't smoke, don't drink. I'm saying if you saw that you're doing things excessively, and at the end of the day, it's going to impact your health, your mental health, your physical health, this is the time right now to stop. And this is the time right now to understand, and I always say this, that direction is more important than position. So stop, take control, look at what you're doing, see how you're spending your time, know we're going to get out of this, and utilize this time to build stronger relationships, to be healthier mentally, physically, and to really ultimately work on your professional A game, because we all have bills to pay, and we all have people to impact through our gifts. And
I love I'm sorry, finish. I'm sorry.
Don't get discouraged. Make it happen today.
I love that you just said direction is more important than position. Sometimes as a type A, really hard on myself person, I'm constantly like, this has been a really great call for me personally. So anybody who did listen in, I hope you got your like awesome, like, I guess, just taste of like mindset shift, and perspective. Like, I love the immigrant story. I love it. Like, I'm not that person. And I even look at my man, and his parents like are from China. Like, they barely speak English now still. And it's like, and they made such a name for themselves and like have built this awesome family and just like have tons of money in the bank. And I'm like, look at this, like we can do this. So anyway, I just love that you said direction is more important than position, because often I get caught up in the position and then I realize, shit, I'm totally going the right direction though. Like, we're good. You're good. Like, you got this. You were on the right path. And it's one of my affirmations. But everything you guys have said today has just been really powerful for me personally. So yeah.
So just to echo off of that too, I think something that I've been doing during quarantine and has evolved as of the last couple of weeks, like the last 2 weeks, really, I was talking to my girlfriend about this. I think everybody on this call, but probably most people watching this, can relate. That type A, that builder type personality, give me 5 hours in a day and I'll do 6 hours worth of work type mentality. And what I was, or let me start from the end and go backwards. What I found the last 2 weeks, I told my girlfriend the other day, I was like, today was the first day of quarantine. I got every single thing on my to-do list done in my schedule. First time. And that was last week. And what I was finding, now that I found in hindsight, time blocking super important, but trying to do too much. You can try and do too much in a day, and then at the end of the day, even though you've done 80% of it, you're still disappointed to some extent by not getting it all done. So I think just setting realistic time blocks, just like I said, your why hasn't changed. The vehicle and the pathway to get there have changed. So sit down, take some time, tonight, this weekend, and non-income producing hours, and just break down, okay, what are the reverse steps to get there? And like you mentioned too, it's like in moderation, not like, okay, I got to hit my goal. Well, then I'm going to make 1,000 phone calls tomorrow. Like you're not, you're just to make 20, so just reverse engineering it. So the point is time block, but also just be realistic with it. And at the end of the day, right now, this is in general, but right now specifically, like, can you go to bed at night, can you put your head on your pillow and just say, did a good day's work today? It's not about the money in the bank necessarily. That will come. There's so many different factors in different businesses. Media can comment on that. It's not about the numbers on your sales report. It's about, did you do the work today that you needed to do to hit the long goal, whether that goal is 1 month from now, 5 months from now, 5 years from now, it doesn't matter. And that's what I've been the last couple of weeks. So it's actually been really, really pleasant for me. I've, really adjusted. I think a lot of people are kind of fitting into that groove of, working from home. Of course, I can't wait to get out and socialize a little bit more, but costs are down, efficiency is up, profitability is up, sales are consistent, and effort is consistent. So it's just that consistency.
I love that you said that, because I agree with you. When I pull like the covers back, I'm like, I'm enjoying this. Like, granted, I don't have kids. I just have the one kid that's a dog, furry kid,
which has grown significantly.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking when I saw her. I'm like, I remember when you bought her.
She was so tiny. I even said that. I was like, would you stop growing? Because she's like a dog now. And I'm like, what happened to puppy? It was only a couple months ago. So, but no, you guys are hitting the nail on the head. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we could have did in quarantine, a lot of negativity we could pull from this, but I frankly am finding a lot of just a ton of positive. Like, this has given everybody a chance to reset. You could have taken that time and you could be really unproductive with it. Most of the professionals I'm talking to are like, have been very, very productive with it. And the real estate business is very, very busy right now. So to Miriam's point, and like how she even just runs like the businesses that she runs, like it's all about like, what kind of leader do you want to be within your family unit, within your business, within your team? It doesn't matter. Like, you could step up or you could kind of just chill. The choice is always yours. And yeah, Eric, you've been like, again, this has just been great.
I heard a great quote that I've been sharing with my groups that I'll share with you. Heath Hilgenberg, shout out to Heath if you're watching. He's the team leader OP for Keller Williams up in the desert. They run a big operation over there in Palm Springs. And so he's got about 6 offices. He's a great guy, and he does this leadership thing. He was talking about, what is your lockdown legacy going to be? What will you reflect upon this time and think about? Is this going to be a time that your life changed for the negative and you slipped and things eroded and faded away and hard work was slowly chipped away at? Or, will you look back at this lockdown as a moment in your business and your life and your family that things took a quantum leap? Things took a much needed economic and technological shift that was inevitable. And you were able to really just hone in on that opportunity. So it just, I'm echoing that with what's your lockdown legacy going to be? We're all going to look back on this. Hopefully we're looking back on this sooner rather than later. But ultimately there's never going to be there's the new normal. We'll look back on this 15 years from now, and it's going to, your kids, your grandkids will ask you, like, what did you do?
Right.
Like, what did you do? And I'm going to tell them, I'm like, I got in the best shape of my life and started making a lot more money.
Yeah.
But that's not going to be the case for everyone. And I say that, and I'll like, not to be arrogant or cocky, but because I come from a place of leadership and I know that I'm able to do it. And I want to show other people how simple it is. Not easy, simple.
Yeah, there's a difference.
You know, one of the posts that I put out several weeks ago, it was, do you want to fake it to make it, or do you want to learn it to earn it? Because especially in the real estate industry, you know, I work with a lot of insurance agents, leaders, realtors that have teams. And there's a lot of them out there that are faking it to making it. They might look successful from the outside, from clothing, jewelry, you know, cars, but in the inside, they're struggling and they're living paycheck to paycheck. And at what point are you going to say, I think fake it to make it could only go so far.
Mm-hmm.
And then really that pivotal point is when you're learning it to earning it and making it something of your own. Mm. So when I'm coaching sales and leadership best practices, sometimes I'm working with people that have our mindset. So they're not all clients that don't have the right mindset. Because I think there's 3 types of people in this world. There's ones that watch things happen. There's ones that wondered what happened. And then there's the ones that make it happen. Mm-hmm. Right? So sometimes they have this right mindset. That's the foundation. Without the mindset, without the why, we cannot go anywhere. Mm-hmm. But then they're lacking, well, I have all this energy. I have all this, you know, I'm going to do everything I need to do. But how do I do it? When do I do it? With who do I do it? How do I manage my time? What kind of scripts do I develop so that I'm effective? So I think there is not only having that discipline, but also knowing how to utilize it so you could maximize your efficiency and your productivity, which is something obviously at a very young age you've mastered. And you know, again, I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. I think you're awesome. I'm so glad that
you're gonna meet Jessie.
Yes, I'm talking. Well, Jessie knows she's brilliant. When I'm talking to you,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm talking to you. But
we're Cutco trained. That's our common thread between the two of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I met Jessie, I was a CEO at you know, this Fortune 100 company for my brokerage firm, and I was trying to recruit her. And I had no idea what the magazine was about. You know, I was telling her, because I knew she would be a phenomenal agent. This is another woman, again, that no matter what product you give her, as long as she believes in it and is passionate about it, she's going to turn, you know, zero into hero. Mm-hmm. And not knowing later on that I would even walk away, and I was able to walk away, just so we go back to that personal story of how all this even happened. I don't know too many people that were comfortably making over $500,000 a year, had reached crazy impact and professional growth, and had hundreds of people that they were leading, and then decide, you know what? I think I want to open up my own company from scratch and start from zero. And the only way I was able to do that is because I had a goal. I'm going to work for X amount of years, which was 15 in this case. I'm going to save X amount of money. I'm going to make sure I support and push and challenge my husband to be better than ever he was before, so that once he surpasses what I'm making, I can now step back and rebuild on a new vision and recreate myself. Because I think we only have one life, and we don't know when it's going to be over. Being in insurance and investment, God forbid, I could get hit by a bus tonight and pass. Life is precious, or get some sort of illness. You can't say, oh, when I'm 65, I'm going to do this. When I'm 70, when I'm 50. If life takes you now, can you turn around and say that at the age that I was, I really maximized my opportunity? I really did something spectacular, and I was above average. That's what it's about. Because life is precious. Most people don't think they're going to get sick. They don't think they're going to pass. Most people say retirement. And working with people that are retired, one of the niches that I had for 12 years was working with folks that were 60 and over. You have a lot of broke seniors. And the reason is because they played when they were our age, or they didn't invest properly when they were our age, or they thought they had time when they were our age. And now that they're older, they're realizing, my God, things have gotten more expensive. I don't want to lean on my kids. What am I going to do? And then hence there's government help, and that's not much here in the US. So it's important that we keep the picture, I think, on two things. If life was taken now, are we proud of what we've done? Are we happy that we're above average? And what is that? And then if we have the opportunity and we're privileged to live longer, what kind of life do we want? What kind of life do you want? Or just you two when you're 65? And I think the last thing we want to worry about is money. And the last thing we want to worry about is our children dictating our life, or having to lean on someone else for survival.
I love that. That's great stuff. I'm jotting it down. I think we could keep going and talking all day. Oh man, good stuff, guys. Like, I really appreciate it. This has been an awesome call, and I'll make sure to like put your info in on Facebook. Anyway, I'm just thinking actually out loud, Miriam. I don't think I pushed record. My bad.
No,
but I put it on Facebook. Don't worry. That will be
don't
the
give me a
second.
heart attack.
No, I definitely don't. Oh, it's on Facebook. It is recorded, just not on Zoom. Don't worry.
We'll do it again. Start from the top. All right, here we go.
One thing I'm not good in is in technology. So as long as we could download this, save it, and share it in the future, that's what I care about.
Yes, I got you covered. Don't worry. But no, anything else you guys want to share today? Again, we can keep going for a while, but I don't want to do that. I know that you guys want to be productive with the rest of your day. So, and just really thank you guys. Like, it's just neat to kind of hear people's story and what's going on and the lessons that we're all learning right now. Like, there's a lot of lessons. And for me, even I just had my first like Reiki appointment. And I don't know what you believe in with Reiki stuff, but this woman was spot on with all my energies, and I couldn't believe it. I was actually like, shit, she like nailed it. So she obviously kind of knows what she's talking about. Shout out to Sarah at San Diego Reiki, I think it's called. And I'm going back, but it was important because even though I'm like, we're all three like doers, we're not going to sit around. And I think there's that awesome balance that we need to have. Like, after this, like, I'm going to go change my top and go be in the sun for like 20 minutes. Just like, let's try that. Let's try like making sure our personal health and our like emotional, mental, physical well-being, our spirit is being cared for too. And that's such a huge part of it, and a huge part of this journey we're all on. And a lot of people kind of just push, next level. It's like, in order to get to the next level, like for me, I know I'm taking a couple like one step back to take 3 steps forward right now, specifically when it comes to like my energy and making sure like my spiritual, emotional energy is taken care of. So just wanted to say that. But yeah, this has been a really important call. So yeah, anything else you guys want to wrap up with?
My goal for today before this call, today's goal was, hey, Miriam, you've been advertising in this magazine for several months now. I don't know. I don't think this is even the newest one. It's just sitting in my office. Right?
Yeah, that's April. You got May too.
So it's sitting in my office. And I said, you've been advertising in this for months now. And you kept saying that you're going to email every single partner to put together I want to learn about your business. I want to know what you do, both in San Diego. Let's support each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you haven't done it yet. So I said, no matter how long it takes today, because I also have to coach all day. I coach before this call, I have to coach after this call. Before I sleep, every single person in here that has an email address, not the top 200 producers, that's next. I'm talking about all the partners. They're going to receive an email. So I won't sleep till that happens. So that is check mark number for today.
Yes, our partners are freaking rad. Like, I look at our partner list, and I'm really, really genuinely happy. Like, we're gonna add a handful more people, and it's exciting. And but everybody on that list are really top-notch businesses and top-notch people running them, and they've got great staff and team in place. So it's just, I can't be happy. I couldn't be happier. Anyway, Eric, what did you want to say? One thing?
Yeah, just to reinforce that great decision that you're making, Jesse, has encouraged all of us to do that. And I been with Jesse, I think, since day one of the publication, but for whatever, 2 years, up until it took me about 6 months ago to do that. And maybe a little more, but I had a lot of really beneficial conversations with all the partners. And then I've since started reaching out directly to the top producers and just, with a value add phone call or discovery phone call. Of course, there's all different types of availability, but just positive reinforcement. You're doing great. Do it. It's all worth it. And the conversations are all really good too. They're all, stoked to hear from you, and we're all in the same boat together. But
Totally.
Yeah, to wrap up, I just as always, Miriam, it's great to officially meet you via Zoom. I'm looking forward to send you a copy of my book and staying connected.
I can't wait. Thank you.
And Jesse, we're the real deal, Holyfield, since day one. We go way back to factory tours of the Cutco factory. So I just love and appreciate you and all we do. And I would just leave you with this: is stay positive, stay healthy, and stay sharp out there.
Love it.
Exactly.
Love it.
Thank you for the time today. You guys are both awesome. I can't wait for another call, and take care, everyone who's watching this. We got your back. Reach out to any of us if we could be of any service. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Enjoy your Wednesday. Have an awesome afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Later.
Later.